How many continents are there? It may seem like an easy question, but the answer you give is based less on some objective reality and more on what country you were raised in. There's no universally accepted definition for what a continent even is. One popular definition is that a continent is a continuous landmass, but there are multiple ways to define continuous. One could argue that Europe and Asia are continuous, and yet many people consider them to be separate continents. On the flip side, Oceania is a series of islands, and thus arguably not continuous, and yet it is also commonly considered a continent. Another potential definition is that a continent is a landmass on a single tectonic plate. But if that were true, India would be its own continent separate from Asia, as would the Caribbean be separate from the Americas. In fact, there are around 16 different tectonic plates on Earth, many of which feature land in some amount. Really, what makes a continent is set more by convention and history. If you were raised in an English speaking country, you're probably familiar with the seven continent model. That's North America, South America, Europe, Asia, Africa, Oceania, and Antarctica. But many places follow one of two six-continent models. Countries like France, Spain, Portugal, and much of Latin America combine North America and South America into a single continent, America. Similarly, countries like Russia and Japan combine Europe and Asia into a single Eurasian continent. There are also two competing five continent models. One that merges the Americas as well as merges Europe and Asia, and another that merges the Americas, keeps Europe and Asia separate, but omits Antarctica because no one lives there. That is actually the model used by the UN as well as the Olympics, which is why the Olympics is represented by five rings. Finally, if we adopt the definition that a continent is any large landmass surrounded by water, we end up with the four continent model, which features a merged America, but also features a single continent consisting of Europe, Asia, and Africa.